The UK has revealed the staggering cost of its involvement in the war in Afghanistan, more than £17 billion. And as Britain prepares to withdraw its troops, the Defence Secretary there says the final price tag could be around $20 billion. Well, this as the country continues with domestic public spending cuts in an effort to reduce its budget deficit. Well, live now to RT's Polly Boyko. She joins us from London with more on this. So, Polly, with austerity at home, the UK government still finds money for wars.
Indeed, yes, £17 billion. The British government has just revealed that that's been the cost of the so far 11-year war in Afghanistan. Now, it was revealed at the same time as a clearer timetable was announced for troop withdrawal from the region. We're going to have UK troops slashed by about a half by the end of next year, down to 5,200, and then another large tranche of troops will be leaving by the end of 2014. But it's those £17 billion that are being spent, that have been spent for the war, on top of the existing defence budget, which means that estimates for the final price tag for the Afghan war might be something around £20 billion. And of course, the UK is going to keep sending money to Afghanistan after 2014. They're going to be sending something like £70 million for aid towards Afghan national security forces after 2014. And this is all at the same time as the government announcing prolonged austerity at home that's going to continue until at least 2017, 2018. And the Chancellor announcing that there's going to be extra welfare cuts and an extra £10 billion slashed from the welfare budget, along with cuts in every single other government department. Now, I'm joined by John Hillary, who's the Executive Director of anti-poverty charity War on Want. John, 11 years later, £17 billion down the line. Could that money have been better spent elsewhere?
Well, you can hardly really think of any worse way of spending the money. As you've pointed out, here in Britain we're seeing enormous cuts to government spending and to the welfare budget. It's about £25 billion in total, which actually is almost the same as being spent in the war in Afghanistan. But in Afghanistan itself, the impact of the war has been absolutely disastrous. It's one of the poorest countries in the world. It's basically got one of the lowest life expectancies, highest infant mortality, and it's lost 10 years of its development prospects as a result of the war. So, yeah, £17 billion badly spent.
But every government has a defence budget. Surely that spending can be justified in some way.
Defence spending can be justified, but this is £17 billion over and above the existing British defence budget. So it's money which they've earmarked specifically for use in Afghanistan. And that is money which they need to be accountable not just to the British people, but also to the people of Afghanistan and the people of Pakistan, who've also suffered as we've seen greater regional instability as a result of the war.
What about the British public? They've got, austerity measures at home that are set to last much longer than first predicted. How do you explain that spending to a public that's undergoing, very difficult budget cuts at the moment?
Well, that's absolutely right. And even before the austerity programme, it was clear that over 70% of people in Britain wanted the war to be ended immediately or very, very soon. It's a completely unpopular war. People in Britain wanted the troops out. People in Afghanistan also wanted the troops out. And now we're being faced with these massive cuts on top of that. People are really angry about the fact that the war has continued. What the British people want to see in this, I think, is a proper resolution which will bring stability and security to the peoples of Afghanistan for the future, and will give them an opportunity to develop, to try to destroy the horrible legacy of invasion and occupation which they've lived with for the last 30 years now.
Thank you, John, very much. Well, that's what we've got, and the government insists that the situation in Afghanistan isn't going to deteriorate as soon as the troops pull out, but already the Defence Secretary has said that parts of Afghanistan won't be under government control. And so that means a lot more questions from the British taxpayers about the 11 years spent fighting the war and the £20 billion price tag for it.
OK, Polly Boyko reporting from London. Thank you for that.